Welcome, men. I'm Stephen Lopes, the host and founder of the Men of Bronze podcast. I want to thank you for joining me tonight. If this is your first time joining us for a conversation, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you gain something of value that you can implement in your daily life and become a better man. If you're a return listener, I want to thank you sincerely for your continued support, and I'm glad you're getting something of value here that's bringing you back for more. My guest tonight is A Clayton. Sean is an American Ninja Warrior Finalist, and he also participates in obstacle races competitively, so think Spartan race and Tough Mudder, that sort of thing. We have an awesome conversation. He has a bit of a dark background. He lost his mother at 14 via murder, and it's quite a dark story. He went through an even darker point in his life after that with drugs and alcohol, and he did join the military, and he came out of that a better man. So he's now a loving father, a loving husband, and he's a great man that's giving back to the community as much as he can. He has awesome goals in life that I can't wait for you to hear about. We talk about a lot of things, from being a father to being a good husband to work-life balance, how important that is, to some fitness things, recovery, and a whole bunch of things. So I hope you enjoy the conversation. I do want to ask you to subscribe to the podcast, whether that's on YouTube or through whatever podcast app you use, both preferably. Rate, review, and comment if you can. If you have the ability to comment, please comment. Hit me up on Instagram, StephenLopes_MOB. I do want to hear from you, and I promise I'll get back to you. I will respond. I do promise that firsthand. I will respond to you. If you do have the opportunity, please share this podcast with your friends. There's a lot of men out here that need to hear these conversations that we have. These are important, crucial conversations that can really grow us as men. And they're only going to hear it if we share it with each other, guys. So please share this conversation with at least one man that you know, and let's spread this word. Above all, please enjoy the episode, guys. I really hope you enjoy it. It's really great. Sean's an awesome guy. So here it is, guys. Enjoy it. Hey, Sean.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Not bad. How are you?
Good.
Awesome. Thanks for joining me.
Yes, sir.
How's the family doing?
They're good.
Good. Do you put the kids down by this time, or are they still up and about?
They're up in their rooms. They're usually not in bed this early. They usually go to bed about 9 o'clock, so they're kind of ticked off right
now. So I'm stealing daddy for a bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh,
they'll be
man.
all right. They got their Nintendo Switch up there, so they'll be good.
And we're on the same time zone, right?
East Coast?
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock for you ish.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
I didn't realize you had the story that you do have, so your email kind of took me by surprise, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
I guess not a lot of people know.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't have a chance to look into other podcasts that you've been on. I'll certainly be taking a look after this because I'm just so intrigued with how those conversations went.
Yeah.
But I know you've got a lot to offer the conversation, so I'll be interested. But I do want to touch on your past if you're willing, but I don't want to spend too much time on him. I'm sure you tell that story all the time, so
yeah,
it'll be good to preface a little bit. But where you're at now and what you can offer now is what I'm more interested in.
Awesome.
Is that cool?
Sweet. Yeah, it works for me.
Sweet. So I guess we'll start with your past because it's just so wild. It's fairly, from the little bit that you did give me, it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
So when you were younger, how old are you now?
I'm 30. I'll be 31 next month.
Okay, I'm 30 as well, so we're the same age. 90 babies.
Huh?
90 babies.
Yeah. Well,
Born in
89 for me.
Oh, 89. Right.
Yeah.
Cool. So before you were 19, you had some troubles that you ran into. So there was some drugs and that there. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah. Basically, my mom was murdered when I was 14, and that just took me down a really bad path. I was really angry for a lot of years.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I ended up just going to drugs and alcohol and fighting, and I pretty much did anything I could get my hands on, honestly. I mean, I was doing crack, hard stuff, X, weed, just anything that I could get, pills.
Wow.
And, fighting all the time and stuff like that. And eventually I ran away from home, and the state took custody of me. Got sent to a children's home and got involved with the gang and started fighting a lot. My dad was trying to get custody of me. And so the state told him that he could have custody back, but he had to send me to a military school that was out of state. So he did that, and I eventually got kicked out of there for fighting too, and dropped out when I was 16.
Wild. What happened with your mother, if you're comfortable diving a little bit deeper? What exactly happened there?
Yeah, so, my mom, she loved people, and she had always wanted to adopt kids. And we ended up adopting 2 girls and a boy from Guatemala. And she homeschooled us. And so, like, my dad, he runs a paint business, and we would go to work with him during the day. And so I was with him at work, and we just got a phone call that my adopted brother, that he had come up the street to a neighbor's house and said that somebody was in the house, and my mom was like laying in a pool of blood, and he ran out of the house.
Wow.
Eventually they, his like story wasn't adding up, and they figured out that he had killed my mom.
That is brutal. How old was he?
14 as well.
Wow. That's crazy. So that's a pretty young age for you. I mean, you're just, at that point, you're either just hitting puberty. I mean, you look like you're kind of like my sizes, so you probably weren't even all the way through puberty at that point.
Yeah.
Like, you're a pretty young man. I mean, when I was 14, I was like 85 pounds.
Yeah.
And there wasn't much to me. Like, that's tough.
Yeah, for sure.
And that obviously sent you into a spiral where you turned to whatever could offer you something, which was the streets, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. Is that just where you kind of felt comfort? Did you have some, like, were there some guys or something that kind of took you in on the street to give you some kind of, like, I mean, you had your dad, but was like some kind of fatherly figure? Were they filling a void, or what was that all about?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I was just so angry for so many years. And like, I mean, honestly, like, I wanted to kill my brother. Like, that was like, yeah, that's what it boiled down to.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't want anything to do with anybody. I mean, there wasn't even, I wouldn't even say there was anybody that was filling a role out on the streets or anything. Cause I really didn't have too many friends. I mean, I had some friends in the neighborhood and stuff, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. It was just like, I was hurting and I was angry.
Wow. Did they send him to jail, obviously? Is he still in jail?
Yeah, so he was 14.
Yeah.
So he was charged as a minor, and he did 11 years.
Wow.
He's out now. He's in a halfway house in Greenville.
Have you had the opportunity to contact him or reconcile or anything with him since then? Or do you still hold on to that anger, or what's the situation now?
Yeah, I have talked to him a few times on the phone since he got out. He's apologized. He says he knows he was wrong. He wants to do something good with his life. He says that he hopes that he can go back to guys that are locked up and maybe help them.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, we've talked.
Yeah, that's a tough one for you. I won't push you on that one too much, but yeah, that's pretty wild. But you've since cleaned up. You told me about age 19. That's when you kind of got cleaned up and you started to straighten your life out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, 19. I've gotten in more trouble, and I was like, I just can't keep doing this anymore. I got locked up and just did 30 days. If I was drinking and fighting, and I knew something needed to change in my life, and so that's when I got sober. And
Cool, man. Well, good for you for doing that, for sure. That's obviously a life-changing event, so good for you to have that without someone kind of telling you. That's a pretty great thing to come to on your own.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I would say good for you. When did you meet your wife?
We actually met when I was 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and we got married when I was 18.
Oh, so she was kind of together with you when you were going through this low period.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It was it's interesting. I mean, like, yeah, she was with me. She saw like a lot of the bad stuff that I was doing. And
yeah.
So me going through that change, it was almost like it was different and like hard for her to understand, because she's like, who are you now? You know? So yeah.
Was she also kind of in that life as well of, the drugs and drinking, or?
Not like I was. I mean, like a little bit, like she would like party with me and stuff, but not like nowhere near like I was. She wasn't doing
Yeah.
all the hard drugs or anything like that.
Not a full addict or anything.
Yeah.
Interesting. And you've now come to faith and you're a Christian. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. And that was part of that turning around period
Cool.
when I was 19. I got saved, and that truly has changed my life.
Does your wife join you in that as well?
Yep.
That's
She
awesome,
does.
man. That's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I have a similar story on the faith part, not nearly as deep on any drugs or anything like that. I dabbled in smoking weed. I smoked weed quite heavily in my teens. I smoked cigarettes between 16 and 19, and then I met my wife, my now wife, when I was 19. We knew each other before from elementary and high school.
Yeah.
We had the same kind of circle of friends, and then she also brought me to church, and I came to faith as well. Started taking that faith a little more seriously around 22, 23-ish.
Yeah.
And it's been great. So
That's awesome.
it's a good thing to have in your life, that's for sure, especially if you come from a troubled past.
Definitely.
So I'm so interested in, I almost missed it in your text block in the email, being an obstacle course racer.
Yeah.
And I just think that sounds so cool.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start with that. It's like, it sounds like not a real thing. It sounds like so much fun.
Yeah. So have you ever heard of like Spartan races or anything like that?
Yeah, I've done a couple Spartan races and they're a
Okay.
blast.
Yeah. So that's obstacle racing. I got involved in that 7 years ago, I think.
Cool.
And that was a lot of fun. I had actually started, I wasn't training or anything or working out, and somebody at work was talking about doing a marathon, and I was like, well, that sounds hard. I'll go do that. And so I went online and I was looking for a marathon, and the Spartan Beast popped up, and it's a half marathon, and they're like, it's so hard. You're going to die. You'll never make it,
The Beast is 25K, right? 25 kilometers?
Or
15 miles or something like that, or
yeah, they vary. So it's usually right around like 12 to 13 miles.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll go up to like 15, 16.
Okay. So you just hopped right into the Beast right away.
Yep. I ran twice before it, and that was it. Just went out there, and it was rough. It beat me up pretty bad. Yeah,
I bet, because they have it's like, I don't know, I'm going to get the number wrong, but it's like 80 obstacles or something like that in the Beast, or it's something like that. It's a whole bunch.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, 80 might be high, but anyway, I haven't done a Beast before. I've only done 2 sprints. The first sprint I did here, it was the first one in the Ottawa area. I'm from Canada. I'm not sure if you know that, but it was the first one here, and they had it like just in a flat part of the city. So there was no hills or anything, and we finished, and I was like, wasn't much to that. It's like,
right.
So I did it again 2 years later. It was a little more fun, and then anyway, I haven't committed to going back. I got a little tired of spending $90 for a 5 kilometer, but yeah, it is fun. But you said you do it semi-professionally now, the obstacle course racing. What does that entail?
Yeah, so I have sponsors and stuff, and they they'll cover those $90 fees and things like that. So yeah, it's very helpful. I got protein sponsors, supplement sponsors, things like that, clothes.
Did you get those sponsors after doing Ninja Warrior?
No, I had a couple of them before then.
Cool.
So I think I had 2 or 3 of them before that.
How do you gather a sponsorship for doing Spartan races before you're on national television?
The first one came because I was racing with a friend in Vermont, and he had just got a clothing sponsor.
Cool.
And I congratulated him on Instagram, and they went and checked to see how I finished, and they contacted me and said, hey, we saw you comment on this guy's post. You're from a different area. We'd like an athlete in that area. Are you interested? So that was really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. And then my second sponsor I reached out to, they were at an event, and I'd used their product before, protein shakes. And I went on there, asked them, and emailed back and forth and got it worked out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me about the Ninja Warrior. You were a national finalist.
Yeah.
How do you even get into joining Ninja Warrior? Never mind climbing to the top like that.
Yeah, so that is another one of those stories where I just bite off more than I can chew.
Okay.
Um, and like my family, so that I was doing the obstacle races like Spartan and like my aunts and stuff. They're like, "Hey, you need to go on this show, American Ninja Warrior. It's like obstacles, but it's like kind of like grip heavy and stuff like that." They're like, "You're good at upper body obstacles, so
Hmm.
you do really well." So I had never watched the show or anything. And I looked up how to apply for it, and they were like, "Hey, you just put in this video submission, 2 to 3 minutes, kind of show what you can do, talk about your story, and you'll get an email if you get accepted." So I put the video together, and I got accepted surprisingly. And so, like, remember at this point, I still haven't watched the show. Like, I've seen like some commercials and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but never really sat down to see what it was all about. So I knew that there was a qualifier, and then I knew that like 6 weeks later they showed the regional finals on TV. So I was like, okay, I'll go to the qualifier. If I make it through that, then I'll have 6 weeks to really put in some training, specifically for it. So 2 weeks before the show starts, I get this email, and they're like, hey, this is the day we're gonna film. Friday, you run the regional qualifier course. If you make it through that, we film the regional finals on Saturday. And I was like, what? Like, it never occurred to me that they just record them back to back, which makes way more sense.
Let's go.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to look this up and see what we're doing. So like right then I'm pulling up YouTube videos and I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Like, I'm like, this is so far out of my league.
Yeah, this is a
And
real obstacle course.
yeah. And I mean, 2 weeks out, there's nothing you can do. So like the training's, pretty much all done. You're not getting in any better shape, 2 weeks out. So
Yeah.
like, well, I guess I'll trust my training and go. And I ended up making it through the regional qualifier and the regional finals and making it to Las Vegas in the national finals.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
And did they cover all your expenses when you had to go to Vegas?
They did out to Vegas. Yeah, they covered, my flight. They covered my hotel, and
Cool.
then they give you like some money for food while you're out there. They didn't pay for like any of my family and stuff. So like I had to fly my wife out there and my kids and all that.
Yeah, but that's worth it to bring them out for something like that.
Definitely.
That's cool. What kind of experience was that like, being able to run the obstacle course like under those lights and that kind of thing? That's pretty unique.
It is, and it's an amazing feeling. Part of it, I mean, the first thing you think of, like when you first step on the course, is like, I mean, there's like back then, I don't know what their viewing is now, but they had like 6 million viewers. So like, you step onto the stage and you're just standing there, the lights are on you, the camera's on you, like everybody's watching. You're like, wow, if I like eat it on this first obstacle, 6 million people are going to see me do that. And so it's nerve wracking. Cause I mean, like obstacle racing, I compete with the elites, I usually finish, top 10 or something like that. So I'm used to having kind eyes on me, but obstacle racing, it's not just on you, it's not just camera on you. So, yeah, it was one of the greatest experiences of my life for sure. Especially like once I got to the national finals and, made it through stage one in Las Vegas, because you're like 40 feet in the air and the crowd is all cheering. You're like looking out over them all. I mean, it was like one of the greatest feelings I've ever had, like competing wise.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So will you be going back into any more Ninja Warrior stuff, or is it kind of like the time's come and gone, or?
Yeah. The time's kind of came and gone. Like it was unfortunate. Like I was planning on going back because I'm like, okay, rookie year, I made it stage 2 in the national finals. Like, it was kind of like my life had almost come full circle. Like everything was starting to work out again, after all those years of craziness. Like I was finally, it seemed like I was getting back to normal and like good things were going to start happening. And I sent in the application the next year and they didn't bring me back. So it was, it's a hard thing. I mean, it's a TV show, and so like there's things that they like want you to say or something like that, and I'd be like, nah, like it's not my thoughts, like I'm not gonna say that. And yeah, so they told me like my story was too dark and stuff like that, and they couldn't play it.
What?
Yeah, it was a mess. But
interesting. So they tried to script you a few times, and you kind of pushed back on that.
Yeah, they're like, there would be interviews and they'd be like, we want you to say this. And I was like, nah, I'm not saying that.
How about you just ask me a question and I'll respond,
Yeah.
and I promise I won't swear.
Yeah, right. I
Like,
mean, that was all it was. Like, but no, there was times where they were like, "We want you to say this," and I was like, eh.
well, I would say good for you. Yeah, I've seen a YouTube video about how they make, like, how to make these shows. It's not how they make them, but how to make them. And this guy was kind of breaking down how they manipulate people's relationships and stuff on these reality
Yeah.
shows. So, like, he showed us a raw clip of, like, an interaction they had. So it's like 4 people sitting in a room just chatting. And he's like, now I'll make it seem like I was the most popular person in the room. And he broke it down into a smaller video, and it just seemed like he was like the man of the hour.
Yeah.
And he was like, here, I'll take the footage and I'll make it seem like it was really awkward with me.
Yeah.
And he showed it, and it was like super weird. And that has really changed my perspective on all these shows. And it's really easy to see the fakeness.
Yeah. When you start watching how like reality TV is done, like it's pretty interesting.
Did they chop up any of your stuff, and afterwards you're kind of like, hey, whoa?
Kind of, but they really didn't use much of my footage, honestly. Like most of my stuff was like the commercials, like while you were away, this person ran, and like it showed me for like 5 seconds. But so yeah, they didn't really do that with me. But they're like, I had other friends that were portrayed in a way that they were like, what is this? You know, like
that's not me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe you weren't like enough of a sheep for them. Since you like pushed back, they were like, well, we can't put this guy on TV. He didn't say the 2 lines we wanted him to say.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's kind of how I took it. That, and on top, like I said, they told me my story was too dark for television. So
I find that so weird. Like, if anything, I kind of would have thought they called you back because of your story.
Yeah, I mean, they play a lot of those, like, you know, kind of rougher stories, but I guess that was just like the murder and everything was just.
Yeah, they're like, whoa, that's a little too much, buddy. Like, can you just like keep that aside?
Yeah, which I mean, I understand. Their show, their choice.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, it's still a great opportunity.
Yeah, it was really fun. Like I said, it's like one of the most memorable experiences of my life. I tell people all the time, like, none of that would deter me from telling somebody to go like try it, because it was a blast. It was so much fun.
Yeah. I mean, the logistics of Hollywood, for lack of better terms, is like whatever. Still a cool opportunity. What kind of doors has that opened for you now?
There wasn't a ton from like Ninja Warrior. I mean, there's a couple people found out, like, you know, because of my faith and everything. There were a couple people that paid attention. I was on CBN played. They actually came to my house and filmed my testimony and everything like that. And it was on the 700 Club and everything. So that was pretty cool. They used it. It wasn't too dark for them.
Yeah, no. People of faith are all over that.
Yeah. They're
like right on.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And has there been anything like fitness related? Because I saw your garage. Is it your garage that gym is in?
Yeah.
Because that is wild.
Yeah, I built that actually this past summer. So yeah.
Did you have 3 power racks in there? Yeah.
3 squat cages, like full squat cages, pull-up bars and everything like that. I have a lot of friends that will like come train and stuff. And it was nice, like, especially like during this whole like quarantine thing, like people be like, hey, like, no, gyms are closed. Can I come over? And so that was cool to be able to, like, you know, give them a place to train. So.
How big is your garage?
It's a 24 by 40 building. And then like there's an 8-foot overhang on the outside. It's like a lot of the equipment that rolls, like the Concept 2 rowers and everything. Like if there's a lot of people, I can just roll it out there onto the outside, and it just gives us more space.
Oh man, do you live in a warm climate?
It is. It's pretty hot. I'm in South Carolina, so the heat and humidity is like it's pretty bad.
And you don't get your winters they're not like my winters.
No, definitely. No, it's rare that we get snow. Maybe like every 2-3 years we'll get a snow. But
it gets a little bit chilly though.
Yeah, it'll get into the 30s, and maybe a couple of the nights will dip down into the 20s and stuff. Yeah.
Cold enough, but not Canada cold.
Right, exactly, yeah.
That's so cool, man. Like I'm kind of putting together, not kind of, I am putting together a garage gym right now, and I have just a regular 2-bay garage. So I've given up my parking spot in the garage, but my wife wants to keep hers for the winter, which is totally fair.
Yeah.
So I've like tried to manipulate this space as much as I can to work
Yeah.
for me, and it's been going pretty well. My biggest issue right now is I need to insulate it before winter, or else I'm going to be working out in minus 40 Celsius.
Yeah.
So that's going to be rough. But yeah, it's awesome. And like, doing your squats or whatever with the garage door open is so awesome. Like that fresh air coming in. It's like I had it in the basement before. It is amazing. What a difference.
Yeah, it's a blast. Like I mean, building that gym was one of the best investments I've ever made for sure. I was working out in a 1-car garage for like 5-6 years before I built that. So even like before I had all that, it was just nice. Like I don't have to waste the time of driving to the gym.
Yeah.
My kids can be there. That was a big thing for me, just the time away from my kids. If I was going to drive to the gym, train, and then drive back, like that's all time I'm missing from them. And now I built a bouldering wall in there, so that my kids are in there like most of the time when I'm lifting and stuff like that. So that's really cool.
Well, that gives me a bit of inspiration since I'm just kind of starting the garage gym now. And you said, you did it in the 1-car garage for 5 years. So that gives me a bit of inspiration. Maybe if I prove myself enough, my wife will let me build an outbuilding.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of the thing. It was like after years, she like saw, and like another thing too, is like all the equipment that I have, I got that from flipping stuff on Craigslist. So like,
good for you.
Yeah, my first set of weights came from trading my TV. Like right after my first Spartan race, like I traded my TV for them, and then like I sold what I didn't want, and then just kept buying more. And literally, like all the equipment in there was paid for from flipping. So it wasn't like it was coming out of the bank account. She was like, "All right, this is all right." Yeah,
that's sweet. And I just made a post actually on Instagram about how I'm trying to make my garage gym for as cheap as possible, because it's like, that's the thing. It's like, if you're going to spend 10 grand, it's easy to make an amazing gym.
Yeah.
But it's also like, that's a lot of money for a garage gym.
Yeah. No
and
doubt.
it's totally fair for wifey to be like, that might be a little too much. So I've been calling all my buddies. I've got a couple of buddies who are like, site supers for house builders and that kind of thing. So, a couple of extra insulation bags fell in the back of my car and that kind of thing. So it's nice to have those connections of guys. There's always extra from every house that gets built.
Yep.
So usually it ends up sitting around and getting damaged. So buddy's like, yeah, man, you can just have it. That's great.
Yeah.
So saving that money is incredible, and it adds up really quick if you do spend that money.
Yeah, no doubt. And I was like, I mean, like those 3 squat racks, I think I paid like $1,200 for all 3 of them. Got them off of Craigslist from the gym that was going out of business. And those things are heavy duty. They're like 9 foot tall and like 350 pounds each. They're good squat racks. And like I said, I mean, the community thing was a big aspect of it, being able to bring people in. Like that's what I wanted to do.
What brand are the racks? Do you know?
Oh gosh, what are they? It was an older brand. What is it? Winmore squat racks.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have that in Canada or not. I haven't heard of them before.
They were older. Like I was looking up online trying to figure out like when they were built and stuff. So I think in the 80s, which is actually like kind of good, because back then like stuff was built like more heavy duty than it is now. So
yeah, my dad was an equipment builder for 15 years. He started a gym in 1990. The Elmont Fitness Center, the one it's still in town now. He sold it about 7 years ago. So he ran it for 27 years.
That's awesome.
So I guess 5 years ago he sold it. Yeah, he ran it for about 27 years. And in the 90s, he built equipment. He had a company, and he provided equipment for like the Ottawa Senators, the hockey team, and that kind of stuff. So I've been around like some of my fondest memories, like when I smell like metal grinding.
Yeah.
Like I zoom back into like 1997. Driving around with dad, picking up steel and that kind of stuff. So, and a bunch of his equipment is still in that gym.
That's awesome.
And it's wild. Like it's just, just built to a different standard.
Yeah.
And, there's incredible builders now. Like if you look up, I'm sure like Sorinex equipment. I don't know if you know those guys.
They're literally like 5 miles down the road. I actually go train in their gym sometimes. They're awesome. Like I've gone up there. They let me come in their gym and work out. Man. They show me how they make stuff. It's really cool.
The dream is to have a Sorinex rack.
They're the standard. Yeah.
Man, and everything is like the fine details, like those laser cut pieces and all that stuff. It's like, man, that's the dream.
Yeah, and it's wild to see that stuff built. Like I've seen their laser cutter and everything, and how the thing. I mean, it's a whole different level of stuff. It was really cool to see.
You're that close to Sorinex?
No, it's literally like, I mean, it's like 5 miles down the road.
Man, that is so cool. I can't believe you don't have a
Yeah.
rack.
I know, right? Like those things are expensive. Like you look those up, yeah. I can't
gotta
afford
call
three of those yet, but
You
maybe
got to call
one
up Bert and say, yeah, you got any extra pieces there? Or
day. Right? Maybe one day, yeah.
Do you have any racks that are like not square or something? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're pretty wild. I saw they just built a big custom rack for no, sorry, I'm gonna get it wrong. Knock TV,
Yeah.
TV, the archers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that rack?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So that's definitely the dream.
Oh yeah.
But
One
the
day.
dream, it's within reach for you because it's right there.
Yeah, it's that's cool. I at least wouldn't have to pay for shipping for sure.
Oh man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So obviously you're still training. Your garage gym is incredible. I mean, if anyone listening here, they need to go check it out because it's wild. You've got rings from the ceiling. You've got these cool ropes you can grab. You've got the climbing wall.
Yeah.
3 squat racks. I mean, that's incredible. But the
Yeah.
gym's amazing. What's your favorite thing to work out in the gym? Like, do you like doing plate lifting or do you like more practical workouts?
Yeah, I do a lot of CrossFit. So I would say like Olympic lifting is my favorite. Like I
Hmm.
love Olympic lifting. I haven't done it that long. It's probably been like 2.5, 3 years, but
Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, I do pretty much CrossFit. I don't know if you're familiar with Comp Train, but they put out a free program. I do a lot of that.
No, I'm not familiar with them at all.
Yeah, it's free online. You can check it out. It's pretty cool.
Is it all CrossFit based?
Yeah, it's all CrossFit.
Okay.
Are you familiar with CrossFit? You know Ben Bergeron. He
I
coaches
don't.
Katrin David's daughter, so like he does the program and puts it out for free.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I dabbled in CrossFit for about a year and a half, probably 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I stopped doing it. I felt like I was going to hurt myself.
Yeah.
I find I'm super competitive and I like to push myself as far as possible.
Yeah.
So I'm scared that if I keep doing CrossFit, I'm just gonna wreck something and I'm gonna be done. And
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's definitely not for everybody. So to each
Yeah.
their own, man. If it's like, I tell everybody, because it's like, if you just find what you enjoy, you know, especially when it comes to fitness. If you're not competing, like find what you enjoy, do that.
Yeah, I think my biggest issue right now is I do a lot of like static compound lifts and that kind of thing. And the issue is my range of mobility suffers.
Yeah.
So I need to work on how to increase my range of motion in my shoulders and that kind of thing. And it's going to take a bit of research, I think, to kind of nail that down. Because I'm finding that sometimes, I can't quite like even today I was trying to like apply sunscreen. I couldn't reach the back of my lat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not like for someone my size, like it's not very good.
Yeah.
So do you have any tips for that, for increasing range of motion or?
Well, I've been doing, I don't know if you're familiar with GoWa or what is it, GoWa Mobility? I think it's GoWa Mobility. It's like, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but they have like an app and, I do that. It's like, you can pick like 8, 15 or 22 minutes, whatever you have during the day. And it's got like a bunch of stretches. I've been doing that, for about 5 months now. And I've enjoyed that. I mean, there's probably plenty that you can find on YouTube and stuff, but it's nice to have like a regimen every day.
Yeah. Have you found it's helped with any range of mobility or?
Yeah, and it's cool. They have like a mobility test that you do every month, and it takes you through these stretches, and you just tell it how far you've gotten. So it shows like if you've improved in certain areas or if you've like regressed. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That's
app.
cool. Can you send me a link to that app?
Yeah.
That'd be great, man. I'll check that out for sure. 'Cause I need something like I'm the kind of guy that needs. I like to have something structured.
Yeah.
Even like I've done yoga a handful of times, but if I didn't have a video in front of me, there's no way I could piece together
Right.
a session. You know what I mean? It's, for weightlifting, no problem. I've been in the gym since I was 1, but for stuff that I'm not overly familiar with, it's hard to kind of put together something and be consistent with it because you just don't know.
Yeah, no doubt. That, and I use like, I use crossover symmetry too for like my shoulders, like strengthening them and stuff. I don't know. I mean, it's not really, I guess it's a little bit of mobility stuff, but I use a lot of that for my shoulders. And yeah, I'm not sponsored by them. It's just something I use.
Yeah. Do you use any kind of those weighted clubs and that kind of thing, or?
I haven't. I've looked at those. Those are interesting. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that I should probably add to the gym. I got everything else in there. So, like,
I sell them at Sorinex.
Yeah, I could get them from there. So yeah.
Yeah, and I really want to get a 100-pound sandbag as well.
Yeah, I got a few. I have 100, a couple 200s, 150s. Yeah.
What kind of bags do you have?
I got a bunch. I got what is XD Fitness? I think it's that XD Fit, something like that. Got two of theirs. I've got a rec bag. Another company, I can't remember. It's another strength company sent me some a few weeks ago. I don't know.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm having a really hard time finding one. I know like Bolt Fitness. I found them online, and they carry a 100-pound sandbag, but it's out of stock. And then, I mean, you look on Amazon, it's like all the reviews are like, oh, the handle ripped on the first day. It's like, well, that makes sense. It was $30.
Yeah.
So it's like,
like I said, I think it's called like XD Fit or something like that. It might be their Instagram. I'm not sure, but I've been using theirs for a couple of years now, and it's worked well. I can probably send you the link to that too if you want it.
Yeah, I might check them out. You know, Father's Day is coming up. Maybe I'll get one of those as a present.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think the functional fitness that you can do with a sandbag is so cool, and I've never been able to experience anything cool like that. So I'd like to throw one of those in the gym, especially because I can bring it out in the yard. Mm-hmm. And just kind of toss it around, do front squats with it, that kind of thing.
Yep, definitely.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So you also served in the military. Mm-hmm. So even though you failed or you flunked out of your whatever your high school or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You went back to the military after.
Yep. Yeah.
What age? 17. 17. And how many years did you do?
Just over 2.
2?
Yeah.
What did you experience there?
I went to basic training at Fort Benning. That was really cool being at the home of the infantry. And so I wasn't infantry, but going through basic there and having infantry drill sergeants was pretty wild experience. So that was cool. I went to AIT at Fort Gordon, which is like your advanced training for communications. Then I went to the 101st Airborne in Kentucky and deployed to Afghanistan from there. And, that was a whole nother experience. It's weird. It's like one of the hardest things to do, I guess. But the bonds that you build with your brothers over there and stuff is it's completely different. It changes your life.
Yeah. Interesting. I just had an interview with, Matt Williams. aka Willie Beating Cancer. He's an Australian Army vet. Yeah. He also deployed to Afghanistan. If you haven't checked him out, you should check him out. It's willie.beating.cancer. Great dude. And he had an interesting look on his experience in Afghanistan. And he said one of the biggest things he experienced there was what he calls signs of better times. So he said you'd fly around in your chopper or whatever, and you would see this gorgeous, massive overpass or something. Yeah. And something just beautiful. And then it would just be unfinished. And it would be all shot up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you'd keep flying around and you'd see this massive, gorgeous, 5-star looking hotel with nothing around it but shot up and decrepit.
Yeah.
Did you experience any of those kind of sights?
A little bit. Flew around. I didn't fly around too much because basically what I did is ran communications for a small forward operating base over there. So we had the helicopter ride out there, and then I flew back to Bagram once, and then back out, and then back to Bagram. So I flew around a few times, and it's definitely surreal, flying around and seeing how the people live and seeing the little clay villages and the huts and things like that out there. It's pretty wild.
It gives you a bit of perspective of how blessed we are here. Yeah,
definitely.
And that's also something that we talked about that I talk about with my family often is you're blessed when one of the biggest issues in the election for your prime minister or for you, the president, is like marijuana legislation.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we've got it pretty good if that's our biggest pressing issue right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
We're doing something
so
right.
Perspective. Yeah.
And so you left the military, and why did you decide to leave?
That was kind of that whole turning point when I was 19, and just like getting in trouble. I was fighting, drinking still heavily. And, they gave me the option. They were like, look, you're always getting in trouble. You need to figure out what you want to do. If you want, you can leave. So I did. I took, so it's called an other than honorable discharge. It's like, it's not a dishonorable.
Other than honorable.
Yeah. It's like
Interesting.
other than honorable. So yeah. I took that. It's actually been upgraded to honorable now. After years of actually turning my life around. And
interesting.
It's a whole it's a wild ordeal trying to get that done. And I've heard that when I went to the VA here, they were like, I've never heard of anybody getting theirs upgraded. So it's pretty wild.
What does that do for you? Like, what does that mean, getting that changed?
Yeah. So I didn't realize this at the time. Like, it was just kind of one of those things, that I wanted to make right, as much as I could. And it did, it didn't sit well with me. It still doesn't sit well with me. But I'd applied shortly after I got out, and, not much had changed at that point. I mean, I'm trying to get my life together. It was it's on your record, but it's not like I said, I mean, it's, it wasn't it's not horrible. It's not a dishonorable discharge, so, but I mean, it's on your record and people see it, when you try to get employed and stuff like that. So I tried to get a change for that reason in the beginning, and applied once, and then years later, somebody's like, you should try it again. And so I applied again, did all the forms and everything. And so it's such a long process. You send in the paperwork, you wait 6 months, you get a response.
Oh man.
The second time I did it, they were like, well, this is your second time applying, so you have to send it to another place. It was 6 months there, 6 months back, and so I was just it doesn't even matter. It had been 7-8 years since I got out. And so I was it doesn't, not hold me back from employment or anything. I've got the job I want. And so, my wife, she was like, you just need to do it. Just, see if you can go see him one more time. So I finally got the paperwork through. They denied it again on paperwork. And they were like, you have one more option. You can go before a board in Washington, DC. And, another time, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. And I show up, I apply for it, I get a spot, I show up, and they're like, this is it. They're like, if you do not show up to this meeting, it's not ever getting upgraded and you're not going to get seen again. You have one shot at this. And so I show up there and everybody has lawyers, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I didn't understand what this was. So I had a bunch of letters of recommendation. Since I got out, I've worked with a lot of different groups, mentoring people with drug addictions and things like that, and different churches and pastors. And so, I mean, there was so much stuff. I've had awards from mayors and stuff like that for being an example to kids, which is funny to me. Ironic that it's turned that far around. But yeah, with
That's
American
awesome.
Ninja Warrior, yeah, that all came from that. I was eating lunch with senators and stuff like that. And so I got them to write letters for me, letters of recommendation. So I had all that and I brought it, and they questioned me, and it was really nerve wracking. And I went to it, and I said, about 6 months later again, got the response, and we upgraded you to honorable. And so I didn't realize I got my GI Bill back, so I'm able to go to college now. That was huge. So I'm in college full time now, and that was just stuff that I didn't even know was going to happen came from that. So
wow. What are you studying in college?
Exercise science.
Oh, cool. That fits what you're doing. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And you're doing it on the weekends or something, right? Or in the evenings, or?
I work early mornings at UPS right now, and then I'm basically off by 9 in the morning. I usually clock in anywhere between 2 and 4 in the morning, and then I'm usually off around 9. Yeah, and then I go to school full time during the day. And so I've always had this vision that I wanted to like I wanted to work with kids like me, like I guess like high risk youth, you know, and I never knew how it was going to be possible because I wanted to do it at like little or no cost, basically.
Yeah.
And so I would need an education on some things. I might have been able to get around that, but like to train, like you have to have money coming in. And so like, I didn't know how I was going to have a gym where I could do that at. And now, like, I mean, this is all part of it, being able to build the gym back there and everything. Like, so now, like, it's actually an opportunity that may be there. I'm putting in a lot of hours and stuff and trying to get my house paid off. And so, like, it's to the point now, like, when I'm 33, I may be able, I'm hoping that I'll have my house paid off at 33. So I'll basically have no debt at all. And, yeah, I'll be able to, like, I'll have the little bit of money that I'm getting from UPS is going to be enough to cover my bills. And I'll be able to train people for little to nothing.
That's so awesome, man. I mean, we kind of had a dream of paying our house off early, and that might have been an option. My wife was a nurse, so that pays pretty well.
Yeah.
But once we had our first, she decided to stay home as a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And it just happens that we got pregnant like right away after our first, so we had our second like 14 months after.
Yeah.
So we've got two little girls, the same as you. You've got two girls, right?
Yeah.
What are their ages?
6 and 9.
6 and 9. So we're 3 and 2.
Okay.
And yeah, so she stayed at home. So that's been interesting because we went down to one salary. So, but it's been fine. It's 100% worth to have her at home. She has since bought a business in town, so now she has not gone back to nursing. But anyway, that's kind of just a side story. But yeah, it's cool if you are able to pay your house off early. I mean, being financially secure like that is incredible, and it really opens up a lot of avenues for doing something else that you want.
Yeah, no. It gives you just like so much freedom. So yeah, that's what we're working towards, and it's definitely a possibility right now.
That's cool. And would you like to do you want to make like a business or something out of that? Or what other aspirations do you have on the side? Do you want to write a book, or what's?
Yeah, there's so many things. So like, the stories I've done with CBN and stuff like that. Recently I've been contacted by a producer that's, kind of talking about doing like a based on a true story film.
Cool.
And that's like far enough along where they've like sent me some like contract stuff that I'm going through right now. Plenty of people have told me like to write a book, and like the important ones are like producers, like they were like, look, I do a lot of stories. You should write a book. Like,
yeah, for sure.
So, that's a possibility. Definitely like a business around fitness, for sure. Selling programming online is definitely like one of the easiest routes of doing fitness. If you can if you have the following,
which you do.
Yeah. So, selling programming, that could be one thing. And like I said, like I want to do it like cheap, like make it accessible for people and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's like one of the goals. I don't know how it'll work with like the at-risk youth thing. It's like something I'd have to go like, do I need to form a nonprofit? And then like, I could see it causing some problems like training from home, like if I did that. So I don't know. It's more stuff that I have to look into.
Yeah, you'd have to probably consult with lawyers and that kind of thing, or find someone who's done something similar.
Yeah.
Even people who have worked with at youth risk in their own home or something, and just see what precautions did they take.
Yeah.
Because you can get yourself into trouble in certain ways, or if something goes sour, you could end up in trouble or whatever it is. So.
Yeah.
But that's cool. The main thing I'm picking up is that you're really dedicated and you're driven to make a difference with people who, I mean, maybe haven't experienced what you've experienced, but are on the same path. And the way you want to do that is as accessible as possible. I think that's really noble.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. Like right now I'm working with like an alcohol and drug rehab kind of program where guys live there, and you kind of like, it's kind of like a mentorship program. And so like they link you up with a guy or two, and you just kind of like, it's like they go through a phase there. They go through this first phase where they're only allowed on the property and everything like that. And then once they make it through a certain amount of months, they go to second phase, and that's where they like start to get a job. And that's when they pick up one of us, like they call us mentors or whatever. And so I'll bring them here, like take them to the gym, and like just kind of show them like how to function outside of that program and everything like that, and get them ready to just be back out into the world. So I mean, it's worked well, and I've been able to train them here, and that's been going directly through the program. So I might have to do something like that where I'm linked up with a specific program and just working with them.
Oh, that's cool. I love that you want to help out people that are less fortunate or in a struggle, because you're kind of at a point where you could go in the opposite direction and try and go the fame route. With you've got about a 50,000 follower or something like that on Instagram, right? Something along those lines.
Yeah, it's like 43. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And then, but I mean, you could easily go like that route and just keep capitalizing on the followers.
Yeah.
And you could go like the celebrity route or whatever. But I think it's really honorable and really noble that you want to do the opposite. And I want to commend you for that, because that's really cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And like full disclosure, I do I like working with companies and stuff like that. It's
of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the benefits of having a large following is that a lot of there's different equipment now. Companies will send me and be like, hey, can you do a review on this? So
yeah, it's awesome.
It helps for stuff like that. Yes, I'm able to build more stuff and put more stuff in the gym. I can help them out by doing a video on it or whatever. Yep. So it's cool.
Yeah, I by no means meant don't make money.
Yeah.
You got to do you, man, for sure. And the more you do it, the more you can help back the community. So yeah, I say 100% go for it. I think it's awesome. But I mean, I just think it's cool that on top of that, you want to actually give back. So I think a lot of people say that, or they might, they get up to the podium and they accept some kind of award and they make these claims of helping the community and everything like that, but their actions don't show it. Yeah. And one of the things that Jordan Peterson talks about, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Jordan Peterson, but that's one of the things he says, though, is people's beliefs are shown through their actions. Don't listen to what they say, look at what they do.
Yeah.
And if you look at what you do, your beliefs are pretty evident. So I think that's pretty cool.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
So I agree that you should write a book. I was looking a bit deeper. I was trying to see if you had written one, because after I saw your story come in the email, I thought, man, this guy's got to have a book.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know what that avenue looks like, if you have to find someone and get a mentor on that or something, but you should definitely pursue that.
Yeah. So I'm hoping I do, it'll probably be after I'm done with college. So I've got 3 more years.
Yeah.
I don't plan on getting a master's degree or anything like that. So I'm hoping 3 more years, because that'll be another time. That'll be a new chapter in the book, basically. I finished college, hopefully paid my house off right at the end of that. And so that'll be when I'm able to start the business. So it'll be cool to tell that whole story on how I got there.
Yeah, that's a good plan. I like that. Do you ever do you follow Jocko Willink on social media?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you ever comment on his posts since you're up at 4 a.m?
No. I do I post my watch in my story every day, kind of like he does.
Yeah.
So I know he's up. He's getting after me. I don't
see his freaking watch at 4:30 every morning. I'm like, man, not a chance.
Yeah. I usually post mine to my story, but yep, it's in there.
Yeah, I'm an early riser, but not that early. I've kind of gone down the thought train of doing 5 a.m. every morning. And I think that might be something that's plausible. Right now I'm 6 every morning, and that's, I've always been an early riser, and plus that's when my oldest gets up. Yeah. So when she yells, that's kind of my alarm clock.
Yeah.
But I thought about doing 5 a.m. and I thought about either working out at that time or taking that time to journal, pray, or whatever it is that I want to do, just kind of get my mind right for the day. So I might kind of dabble in that, but I think that means go to bed an hour earlier.
Yeah. I haven't got to that part of the sleep one day. So yeah, it's that's kind of I'm honestly, I don't like waking up early. It's just I kind of had to make a decision with back then I was working 2 jobs. So I needed a second job to pay the bills. My wife, she stays home too. So I was working, I was working at Amazon. And I started to climb up. I was a supervisor there. I was basically at the highest level you get as an hourly supervisor. The next step was going into salary management. And so I was building up there. You work basically 4 days straight, And then you'll have 3 off, but you have to work 1 day on the weekend.
Mm.
I like the game changer for me. Like I just had my daughter, and I come in, it was like during peak season, and the salary management, they work a ton of hours. I mean, they work, they're there all the time during peak and stuff. And, I was talking to my manager, and he was like, man, I haven't seen my daughter in 3 days. And like right then I knew. I was like,
No.
it's just not for me. Like I won't be able to do this. So like I was looking for opportunities, and I just started racing like then too. And so like the races are on Saturday, and I knew I wanted to pursue that. I didn't have any sponsors or anything like that. So, I mean, that was like a secondary reason. So like I needed another job. So, I got back into construction on my dad. He runs a painting business. And then I knew that I would need, some more income, and UPS has really good benefits. That's just another thing. It's like completely like free healthcare and stuff like that.
Cool.
So, yeah, that was a big decision. And then like, I wanted to see my family. So like, it was either get a part-time job after the construction job, or get a job early in the morning when it only cuts into my sleep and it doesn't cut into my family time. So that's what I chose.
Yeah, I think that's a wise choice. My family time is crucial to me as well. My family life, my work-life balance is super important. Yeah. And I think it's a great decision to make, because I think a lot of people work too much. Yeah. I work in the construction industry, the civil construction, so building roads, storm sewers, sanitary sewers, and water main, that kind of thing. Yeah. And I'm an inspector, so luckily I have the flexibility in my schedule to kind of, if I want to eat breakfast with the family, I can go into site for 8 a.m. or whatever. Yeah. And if I want to skip out a little bit early and enjoy the sun and, splash around in the kiddie pool with the girls at 3:30, I can get home a little bit early and maybe do my report in the evening or whatever it is. So having that flexibility for me is crucial.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And like when they're young and even when they're teenagers, they need their dad around. Yeah. And the last thing you want is to get to a point in their life, or, send them off to college or whatever, or even, being on your deathbed and have those thoughts of like, man, I wish I was home more. Or, I wish I was there for this sporting event, or I wish I was there for this or that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's one of the big things is like, if I get the house paid off and everything, my daughter will be like 12 right then. So it'll be right before she goes into, all her stuff and teenage years. And so like, at least like, if she wants me to be close to me, then like she'll have the opportunity,
Yeah. Is that your daughter's name on your arm there?
No, this is Aurora, Illinois, where I was born.
Okay.
It's kind of a dumb tattoo. I got it when I was 18, but yeah.
Yeah, hometown.
Yeah, right.
Whatever. At least it's nice.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, I thought it said Ava, and that's one of my daughter's name is Ava, so I thought I saw Ava kind of poking up there. So
yeah, Aurora, Illinois.
Hey, it could definitely be worse.
Could be, for sure.
And at least the artwork's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do have a few tats. I wasn't going to ask you about your tattoos, but you do have a few tattoos. Anything meaningful in there?
Yeah. So like now it's like what I'm working on. It just kind of tells my story. Believe it or not, like one of the the second most questions I get on Instagram, like, what are your tattoos?
Oh, interesting.
It's weird, but so like it's all just to like tell a story, So like kind of on my right arm, I've got like my life before, like when it was a mess and everything. And
okay.
So, I've got like my military stuff is on there, and like the American flag and everything, and then my patches for the units that I was with. And then there's kind of like Roman centurion. He's like kneeling down, picking up a crown of thorns. And then I've got like, it's kind of like the suffering and the death and the resurrection of Jesus on there. And then on this arm, I actually just recently started getting it all tattooed, and it's going to be like, the new life now.
And are they all black and white? Are they all black, I mean?
Yeah, black and gray, yeah.
Tell me about the Roman centurion picking up the crown of thorns. Yeah.
So it was kind of like my tattoo artist found it. Like he knew I was like I wanted the military stuff on there. And so since that was like the big turning point in my life when I got saved, it's kind of cool. He's like looking down, picking up the crown of thorns, and it's almost like in his mind, like the things are like flashing through, like of Jesus' death. And that's like, kind of what it was for me. Like, that was the point. I was a soldier, and that's when I got my life turned around. So I like it. It's cool.
Yeah, well, it's pretty deep, right? Because the Romans are the ones that crucified him, and
yeah,
I love that one. As soon as you said that one, that really stuck out to me. So that's really cool. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, it's awesome, and that's like my sin put Jesus on the cross. So yeah.
Also, Roman soldiers are super badass. So
yeah,
so that's cool.
Yeah.
I've actually wanted to get when I do build something a little more permanent for the background here. I've kind of dabbled with the idea of getting like a full size like Roman styled helmet off eBay or something. You can get like the cosplay ones or whatever for fairly cheap, or the LARPing ones or whatever they're called. So because they look so cool, like having that on a shelf would be cool. And
yeah, definitely.
I don't know. We'll see. All that kind of stuff's really interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
So what does the future look like? What are you working on now that maybe is cool and kind of behind the scenes, or something that would be cool to share?
Yeah, I think that's it. Like I said, it's like, it took a lot of years to get here to this point.
Yeah.
I think that's like, kind of what a lot of people don't see is like, all the years you've got to put in to fix your life. And so like, sometimes it seems like I said, I do a lot of these podcasts and stuff. It's almost like, we switch straight from the drugs and alcohol to like American Ninja Warrior. And it's like almost like, oh, you're just like, you got to figure it out. And then boom, everything's going right for you. And, it didn't work like that. And, it takes time. You got to rebuild trust with your family. Like they don't trust you, and they shouldn't. Like you were a drug addict. Like, you've got to build all that back. And, you have to learn, like, learning to be a father and things like that. And, learning how to be like a good husband. All that stuff takes time. And so, yeah, that was like a lot of years of working on that. Obviously still work in progress, always trying to get better and stuff.
For sure.
The stuff those are like the big things that I'm working on is just like the movie thing, the short or the life story kind of thing based on a true story. That's in the works. We'll see if that happens or not. The book further down the road, school. Yeah, those are.
Yeah, there's a lot on your plate.
Yeah, it's busy. A lot of long hours, a lot of little sleep for now. So.
I bet. I love that. Well, it's probably a good time to start wrapping up. I know your kids are waiting for you to go tuck them in, that kind of thing. And, I appreciate your time. I don't want to take too much of your time up. So just 2 more questions for you, if that's okay.
All right.
One question is, how can we be more effective men? And you can answer that in any way you see fit.
Yeah, I think, something I've talked about a lot recently, especially with all this, like, the COVID-19 and being, stuck in our houses, is like creating the environment that you want to be in and creating, an effective environment that serves you. So like last year in the winter, I built, actually it'll be 2 years ago now, built my study upstairs and got all kinds of books and things like that. The gym. And so like, when they're like, you're stuck in your house, like, I'm like, oh, great. Like,
yeah, sweet.
Yeah, I have the things I want here, So, building, a good, productive environment is huge. So, yeah, I'll say that.
That's awesome. That's actually something that I've definitely implemented in this time. I was off for a month, and that's when I decided to put the gym out in the garage and start taking more advantage of it. So I think that's awesome, and I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you create an environment for success, you're going to be successful.
Yeah. No doubt.
That's great. Last thing is, where can people find you on your social media? Anything you want to plug, websites, whatever you want?
Yeah, Instagram is like the main thing I'm on. Instagram at Sean A. Clayton, and Sean is SEAN. And then I also recently started a page for my gym. It's called at the Woodshed Gym. And that has it's going to have more product reviews, more home gym stuff. a lot of things. People ask how I do my floors. Like, this is how I did the floors. This is the plywood that I put under there. This is what I did under the squat rack, stuff like that. So yeah, it's like, that's going to be more gym focused and product reviews kind of thing.
No, the woodshed's going to be the one that I'm going to be after for sure.
Yeah, sweet.
I'll be looking close to that. I love that, man. So yeah, I appreciate your time coming on, man. All your links, I'll put them in the show notes, all that kind of stuff. And I'll push it on the social media, this conversation, when it does come out. I think this is one that people are going to like a lot. So yeah, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been good.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on because I know you're a busy dude. I know you've got a lot on your plate. I saw that you had made a comment saying that, school had just ended. So you're more open to do some conversations. So that's when I was like, I got to hit this guy up. So yeah, man, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you as a father and a husband, and improving your life and stepping up is huge. And we need more men to do that in our community. So I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I appreciate what you're doing here too.
Okay, man. Well, have a good one and enjoy the rest of the evening with your family. Take advantage of that last half hour you have with them and enjoy it.
All right. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Have a good night.
All right. You too.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Remember to visit our website at www.menofbronze.ca. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram and share the show with your friends and family. This was the Men of Bronze podcast. Be worth remembering.